Good morning everyone. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm going to show you how to do this fun fold bookmark card. Little bookmark at the side here. I am changing a couple of things on the original one, so bear with me when we get started. Just to mention a few things, my Facebook page, that if you're watching and you wish to go and have a look at my cards in there, it's called Cards by Laura. Lots of nice ideas in there. I post in there regularly. I have a Facebook group if you wish to join. It's called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. All the PDFs for these videos, as well as my live videos that I do on a Saturday morning, all the PDFs and tutorials are in the Files tab in that group. If you're watching today, you're with my YouTube channel, which is called Creative Gems. If you haven't already subscribed, I'll love you to do so. We shall get started. I'll put this aside because it does get moved around a little bit. So here we go. I've done all the pieces and I'll show you an alternative. I'm doing this card with my fun fold group in a couple of weeks time as well, and what I've designed for them, it's a little bit different. It hasn't got the bookmark in it. I decided just to do the card base itself, and then I've put down the side here a white panel instead of the DSP, and then there's no pocket or anything for the bookmark. Today's will have a pocket for the bookmark, and I've decorated it with these new sketched butterflies. Beautiful set of stamps, dies in that set, and that little writing panel on the back. So that's not today's, that's for my class, but it's just showing you a variation of this one. We'll get started and I'll give you all the pieces. We'll get started over here, and I'm doing the top of the bookmark a bit different as well. Instead of the scallopy edge that's on it, I'm just doing rounded corners. So to get started, you will need a base. I've used Mossy Meadow for this one, and the paper I'm using is one of the new ones, Flowering. Just double check on that one. Wildly Flowering, it's called. Beautiful, beautiful paper. Lots of different designs in it. This piece here measures 8.5 by 5.5. That's my base, and I'll show you how to cut and score that in a minute. The cover over my bookmark. Now, you probably can't notice it here. There's a little pocket down here, and there's a cover over the top, which is the black strip piece here. It measures 5 inches by 1.5. Oh no, sorry, we're up here. Same colour as the base, 3 inches by 1 inch, and I'll show you that in a minute, which is this little piece here. And then it's the same colour as the base, and then also a piece 5 inches by 1.5, which is my bookmark. And that's that. Oh no, that's 4 3/4 by 1 1/4. Which one have I got here? Oh, this one here. Beg your pardon. 5 by 1.5 is that one there. That's the back side of your little bookmark. This bookmark comes out, and this one will go on there. The DSP on that one. So that sits in that little pocket there. Now, I'll show you. We'll wait till we get to the card, and I'll explain a couple of things. My coordinating mats, I've done them in crumb cake. They're the ones that sit in the front here. I've done them in a different colour besides the black, and these will be crumb cake on the Mossy Meadow. They're 3 3/8 by 3 1/8, and you'll need 2 of those. And then the white on top of those, one is my greeting for the front, which I'll show you here. That's that one there. And then the back one here, I've just put some DSP on, little strips of DSP on. They measure 3 inches by 2 3/4, and you'll need 2 of those. DSP. Now there's lots of little bits of DSP. We'll put that as we've done all that one. The first piece is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to cut this into a C shape. You'll see it comes around like this, and I'll show you how to cut that in a minute. 5 1/4 by 1 7/8, which is this piece here. That is the C shape for the other side. Now this is an extra. The video I watched, they didn't do this piece here or that piece there, so I've added this in extra, and I'll show you how you cut that. And then the piece that's cut out of here, you'll just cut it down shorter to put in here. So I haven't given you a measurement for this. We'll do that as we go. But this piece is this piece here, which will be cut into a backward C shape, if that's how you'd put it. That's the 6 3/4 by 1 7/8. That's this piece here. We're going to score that at the bottom, and then it'll fold up. Now you can use the pattern that's on the back, but I don't like the pattern. Well, I like it on its own, but it sort of clashes with that. So what I've done, I've added an extra little piece, and after I fold it up, that will go over the top of that. So we end up with the same pattern all the way through. But it's up to you. You can just do the pocket this way without the extra piece. That's just an added extra that I've added. It's 6 3/4 by 1 7/8. So we're going to score it at 5 1/4, and then 4 3/4 by 1 1/4. That's our other C shape piece. 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. No, that's, I beg your pardon. We've already done that. This is the DSP that goes on your little bookmark, and I've already scored that, or cut that, sorry, and hole punched it. I'll show you that one when we get to it. 1 7/8 by 1 1/2 inches is this little piece here, which I'm going to put at the bottom. The ribbon, there's ribbon that goes around, and that will sit over on top of the DSP there. It'll all make sense when we get to it. And then 2 3/4 by 1/4 inch is 2 of, and I've already adhered those to the white panels, which is these two here. They're going on the back. That's your writing panel where you write your greetings. There's 2 of those on there, and that's all the pieces. We've got some ribbon or twine, whichever suits you to use. And I'm going to use this new one that I just got the other day. It's really sparkly. It's really pretty. It's a striped trim, and it's iridescent. So you'll need 3 pieces to do this longer piece here is at the top of your bookmark. It'll go through the little hole at the top. And then the pocket, which goes around the pocket that way at the bottom, it's 3 1/2 inches long. And the knot at the front of the pocket, so that's the on the top of the pocket, and then the little knot that goes over the top of that. So that's the 3 little pieces. It measures 3 inches long. Some scrap cardstock for decorations, whatever you wish to decorate with, and some embellishments as well. So that's all of that will be in the description box of this video, and also it will be in the files tab with the complete tutorial in there of how to construct this whole card. So we'll put that aside, and we'll get these pieces ready. The stamp set that I chose, I've got this birthday wishes here, and I've stamped my other piece. I've put here, I've stamped around with this little splotchy stamp and a couple of these images here. There are dies to cut those images out as well. And I've also done 3 little of the tiny flower. This one here I stamped and coloured it just with Winker Stella and your ink out of your ink pad on a block. And they're nice and shiny. They're going to go on the corners the same as I've done the butterflies here. I'll put these little flowers instead. So that's those 3. And they're the stamp sets and dies that I used. If you want to use a tag topper punch, whichever one you've got will be fine. This one's the Delightful tag topper. That's the one I used on this. You could leave it just plain squares, like squared at the top. The one I'm doing today, I've just used a corner rounder and corner rounded the pieces. So we shall get started. So you'll need your base first, and there's a little bit of cutting and scoring on this. Whoops, nearly dropped it. With the short side at the top and the right edge on the 1 inch mark, like so. So on the right edge here, down this side, you're going to cut from 1 inch to 5 1/4. I'm just making sure I've got the right measurement so I don't make a mistake. So we're going from 1 inch, which is right there. Excuse my head if it's in the road. 1 inch, and we're cutting down to 5 1/4, which is there. Now you can leave your blade there, lift that up, put this on the 1 inch mark on the left hand side and do exactly the same, but because you're already on 5 1/4, you can go from the 5 1/4 up to the 1 inch there. So you've got 2 even cut lines on each side. Then with the long side at the top and the cut lines on your left side, so there's my 2 cut lines there. You want them on your left. This bigger, wider panel is on the right where it's not been cut. And we're going to put that on the 1 inch mark here on the left edge. I'll just double check and score from cut to cut. So I'll put my cutting blade out of the road, and we're going from that cut line there down to the cut line here. You can see the cut line, well, I can see it through there. So I've gone scored from cut to cut there, and move across so the left edge is on the 2 inch mark, and we're going to score from cut to cut again. So we'll go from there, it's actually one inch there, down to the cut line there, all the way through, and then across to 4 1/4. So just keep moving your left edge across 4 1/4, and score from the cut line upwards. So that's on the 1 inch mark there, and you're just going to go up that tiny bit, bring it down to the bottom score line and go down. So you're just doing either side of the score lines, the 2 score lines, 2 cut lines, beg your pardon. Then move it across to 5 1/4, which is there, and we're going to score from cut to cut again. I can see the cut on this side, it's at the 1 inch mark there, and we're going to score from there down to the second cut line. So between the 2 cut lines, then you will need the arm out for this last piece, and move it across to 6 3/8. 3/8 is right on the border of, if you've got a Stampin' Up trimmer, it's right on the border of that dark grey section there. That's 6 3/8, and we're scoring from top to bottom all the way down. So that's all the scoring and cutting on that piece that you'll need. While I'm at it, I will get the DSP piece here, that is the bookmark pocket, and making sure that the pattern is up the correct way. These flowers sit up this way, and we want to score it at the bottom. So it's scoring it at, I think it's 5 1/4. Yes. Double check that. 64, 175, 5 1/4. So put the left edge on 5 1/4 there, and not too heavy with this one because it's going through DSP. You don't want it too thick. And this is where that folds up into a pocket to put your bookmark in. If you do the card, this one here, you will just do a standard piece the same size as the DSP in here. You won't have the pocket and all in that one. So that's all the scoring. Oh no, there is one little little bit of scoring here on this tiny piece, the 1-inch piece. Bit of ribbon dropped to the floor. This here is the cover over the thing, and we're doing 1/2 inch on each side. This is the piece that measures. I'll just get my other piece back out so you've got the right piece. It is 4 3/4 by 1. I'll just measure it. It's 3 inches. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. 3 inches by 1 inch. That's that, and it's the same colour as your base. And you're just scoring at 1/2 inch on each side. So that end, flip it around, and do another 1/2 inch on this side, and that will wrap around the bookmark pocket at the bottom. So that's all the scoring we've got. That one will fold under this. Now if you did use that back pattern, it would just go in there to make a cover over the you could put it halfway, you could put it further down, it's up to you where you want to put it, but it just goes like that, and then the ribbon goes over the top. But I've cut this little piece here, which I can stick on now, and I'm covering that because I want it the same pattern as what I've got above it. So I'll put that on now so it doesn't get forgotten, and then we shall do the main base. We can decorate all of the base before we do any folding. So it'll just sit evenly right over the top of that. If you don't, this is only if you don't want that other pattern showing. I didn't like that colour going with this one. It's all right if you're going to use the whole thing like that. It does match in with those little flowers, but I like it this way. And then I'm putting that over there, but I've got my little piece of ribbon. That's for the knot. This one here will go over this one. So we'll do all that bit when we get to it. Now our base, we'll go back to our base, and we've got to cut the C sections out. That's the next piece. So it's C panel and this one. 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece you'll need, and you'll need your cutter. And I'll just get my measurements out. 5 1/4 by 4 with the short side at the top and the right edge on the 3/4 inch mark. So we've got the short side up here, and now watch your direction of your paper here. This one's fine because it's going to sit this way, and we're going to cut that out. So the short side at the top, and this on 3/4 of it, actually I think it'll be upside down, you'll need to put it, so that when the C's coming out this way, so when you turn it around it's right way up. So make sure you flip it around. That's on 3/4. Just double check here. Where am I? DSP. 5 1/4. I'm still lost here. I'll find it in a minute. This one, right at the top, with the short edge at the top and the right edge on the 3/4 mark. Cut from 3/4 down to 4 1/2. So we're on 3/4. We need our cutting blade at 3/4, which is there. I'll show you my trimmer in a minute. Down to 4 1/2. That way. Yes, because it's going to be that way. Then with the cut line at the bottom edge and the at the bottom and the right edge on 3/4, cut from the cut line to the top. So that's on 3/4, and we're going from this cut line here, which I can just see it. I'll just tip it up a little bit from there up to the top, and then you'll move it across to 3/4 on this side, and I'll make sure that's how I've worded it, on the left edge, and cut from the top down to the cut line. So it's cutting out that whole section from there down to this cut line here. It's about there. You can always snip it if you haven't gone. Look at that, it's almost perfect. So that's that. We'll do the other one in a minute. Now we want this way, and as you can see, my paper's up the correct way. So if you've got a directional paper, make sure you start with it upside down. So that's that piece. This piece here will be spare, but you can use it. It's quite a big piece, so you can use that for something else. That one will sit in there. Now we'll do the other C section, C panel, which is this one here. Yes, we're going to use part of the piece we cut out for this. Now I want it in this direction. It sits over here. So we'll go I've got to make sure I'm on the right piece here. Don't know where I've put this instruction bit. Oh, 5 1/4 by 1 with the long side at the top. This way at the top. Now I'm just making sure. I should have highlighted this so I can find it easily. And with the right edge on the 3/4 inch mark, cut down to the 1 inch. So that will be the correct way. So this is, you've got your pattern running down that way, and this is on the 3/4 inch mark, cut down to the 1 inch mark. So up the top and going down to 1 inch. Sorry, I'm taking a while. I just don't want to lead you astray and get the wrong thing. And then we'll go across to this side. I'll just make sure that's how I've worded it. It does say rotate, and the short side of the, oh no, that's not that one. Oh no, that's the second piece. Beg your pardon. We'll go this way on the 3/4 inch mark. That one was on the 3/4. This one's on the 3/4. And we're doing the same on this side, from there down to the 1 inch. And then with the, I want the pattern this way. So we're going to go short side at the top and the left edge on the 7/8 inch mark. So we're going to 7/8 there, and we're cutting from cut to cut. So that's on 7/8 there, and I'm just a bit above that. I think I'll drop that down a fraction. So I'm on 7/8 there on your left edge and coming down to that one there, and that will cut that piece out for you, which it doesn't look right. No, it's a bit too wide. I think I should have gone, hang on, we'll fix this. That should have gone down to the long side at the top and the left edge on 3/4. That was right. Cut down to the 1 inch mark, which is what I did do. I need to cut a little bit more out of this. I'm not sure what I've done now. I'm going to go a little bit further. Excuse me while I fix this. That's 1 inch, and it should be 7/8. So we shall go this way. I'm just going to, I'll just double check my instructions. because I think that's the problem. I'm just going a little bit more of a cut there so that we can get this back to 7/8 wide. So it should be there, and cutting from cut to cut. I will make sure my measurements are right so you can get it right first go. My instructions, I should say. I had to take a little bit more out of that, but that's okay. We'll just hand snip this last little bit and that bit up there. I will fix. My instructions are correct, but I just read it wrong. That looks better. And that goes like so. I'll just double check it before I post it in my group. So that one sits like that. Now we need this piece here, which is probably the correct width now. Yes, it is. But we need it at, where was my other piece of paper? Just try a smaller piece, 3 by 1, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 by 3/4. So this piece that you cut out, it would be wider, 3/4 of an inch, which is correct. I might need a smidge off that. Just make sure it's 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 by 3 1/4. So you've got plenty here still to cut it correct. So that's that little piece there. This was a bonus. You can leave out this section here and make it just with this C section, nothing there and nothing there. It still looks nice. That's the original how it was, but I decided to put the extra section in, and that piece will sit in there. All correct. And that, and this here, I've already done those pieces, which this will come in over here. We shall put some, I might use my tear and tape, I think. The band that's going around this will hold it shut, but I'm going to put this little, wherever I put it, this one here, we're going to wrap this around and secure it on. So I'll just put a couple of little strips of, when we find the end of it. When I do a lot of cuts and scoring like that, I usually highlight it on my instructions so I know where I'm looking. And I didn't do that this time. That's why I got a little bit lost. There's a lot of bits and pieces, but I'll make sure it's correct when you get around to doing one. So we'll pick tool, take that off, and just remember I already put my little extra piece over the top to cover the pattern that was showing. So we shall put that across there. I'll probably go up a little bit. Doesn't really matter. It's still forming the pocket underneath. Make it straight, like so. And then our piece of ribbon, which will be that one. I'll just double check I've got the right piece. That's for our bookmark. This piece will go on here. So we'll just put some, I'll use a bit of snail on this. A little bit on there. Wrap that around the middle. It's very shimmery, this ribbon. It's quite pretty. That there, and then our tiny piece, it's just big enough for a knot on the front. So we'll loop that under there. You can put a glue dot. I hope I've left enough. I'll adjust the the PDF to make it a little bit longer for you to tie a knot. It does tie, and I don't like wasting ribbon, so just take a few minutes or a minute or so to tie the knot. It's not easy with the short piece. I might have to I'll get another piece off. I'll make it a bit longer. It's a little bit short, I think, because it's such fine ribbon. It's hard to get it to move. That's better. I'll make it probably 4 inches for the knot. It just wants to keep slipping backwards on itself. I haven't had this much trouble tying a knot before. Trying to get my finger in there. There we go. Very pretty. And I'll trim the ends of that. We're still not wasting too much. A little bit more off that side. And then I'm going to put a glue dot underneath that knot. You can move it backwards and forwards because it's just free sitting there. And my glue dots, I shall put one underneath that, just to secure it on the front, like so. So that's that piece, and this will sit in here. Keep all those bits there. We know exactly, we can start and glue these on. And your pocket, which we've got this, and I've just corner rounded both pieces. This is your bookmark. I've already hole punched it. I corner rounded them first, then I laid them where I want them to go with the nice even border around, and then I hole punched it. So I'm going to put some liquid glue on that and glue it to the mat. Just line up the hole again. You could glue it on first and then hole punch, but I just wanted to show you how it all worked together. By all means, glue the two pieces together. I'd suggest that you corner round them separate so that you've got the corner rounds on both bits. And then our other piece of ribbon, which is this longer one here. Just going to make a point on that so I can thread it through. Actually, we can thread it through from go this way. I think we go front to back. I mean back to front. I need to swap those over. I'll cut. I'll just use my pick tool and push it through. I chose a fine ribbon because I thought the other one was too thick, but this one's just as difficult to get through. There we go. And I've probably got it the wrong way. Adjust that. Yes, I think it should go the other way. This way. From the back to the front. I've never fiddled so much with a piece of ribbon. That's it. And then we've got the loop at the front. Just loop those two through there. And tighten it up like so. And I don't think I'll have to trim too much off that. Just even them up a little bit. They do fray a little bit on the ends when you're trying to get them through. and that will sit in there. We can glue this one down. I'm going to use tear and tape to put this down because it will have the bookmark being pushed in and out a bit, so I hope everyone's well. We're getting into, well, I'm in Australia and we're starting into, well, we're in autumn at the moment. Next month starts winter, which we've had pretty mild autumn so far. It's not been too cold. Had quite a bit of rain over the last 3 or 4 months or so. It's getting a bit too much, although the last few days have been lovely and fine. So I've got all that on. We can push that down. And this will go on, got a bit of a mess here. This will go on the back. I was doing a video the other day and there was a bird chirping out the back, out the side of my craft room here. Wouldn't stop. Probably halfway through the video it kept going. But it was only a every now and then intermittent sort of chirp, so I just put up with it. So that one will sit in there, just like that. Nice and cute. And then you use that for your bookmark. You could corner around these ends as well if you wanted to. Just got to pull it up a little bit because there's a bit of a edge underneath there. So we can stick all these pieces on. Haven't got much left to do. Took a bit of reading with my instructions. I type them up as I go when I make my sample, and then hopefully they make sense. So I read them through and I read them through, and they usually do. I haven't had too many problems with them. So this has just got the 1/8 inch border all the way around. Just use liquid glue on these because it'll give you a little bit of wiggle room to move them around. This one will go on the other side. The original card that I saw for this, it didn't have this piece and it didn't have the next piece that I'm doing. It just had the one C-section, but I thought it looked unfinished. So I worked out the measurements for this. And then this little piece will go in here, which goes that way. Just trying to make sure my patterns are up the right way. If you use non-directional, it doesn't matter where you cut them or how you cut them. That one will just slot in there. And then our front panel, which is this one here. I'm just putting everything flat, but I have got some embellishments to put on it, so it will have a little bit, and by the time you fold it up, it can be a little bit bulky. So that's that one there. That one will sit in the front. Everything's up the right way. This one in here, it's only got a little smidge border around it. I haven't got the 1/8 inch border around that one. It's just a small border, very small border, and the same with the one on the back. This one here we shall put on. Your little DSP strips on this, you can put them top and bottom or on the sides. It doesn't really matter where you put them. It's just something to decorate the back a little bit. And then that one will go in there. Which way? There's my score line there. So it's that way. No, I'm trying to see my score lines. I don't want to burnish them yet because they're not ready. No, it's this way. Now I can see it. So I've got them top and bottom on this one. I'm not sure what I did on the other one, but either, whatever suits you, it's personal preference. So this one will sit in here, and that little smidge border all the way around on that one. Yeah, this one I've done top and bottom, so this one's on the sides. So that's all of that. Now you're folding. I'm just going to move that out of the road for a sec. And as you can see, on this right hand end, we want a valley fold first. So we'll pull that in like that. And my bone folder, and we'll give that a burnish. A bit bulky in there with that knot. It's okay. And then this next one here is a mountain, and these two small ones are mountain. So that's this one here, which is a mountain, and these two small ones are mountains. Just got to maneuver it a little bit, and it will go into place eventually. You don't want to put, if you pull these up first, like that, and then this one will come up by itself as well. So just bring them up like that. So you've got two lots of mountains, and then that one's already folded itself down into a valley, and there's nothing there. So if you push it like so, and that's how it sits, then you can burnish all your score lines, which they're all done. Just be careful when you are folding that it doesn't, sometimes it tends to want to fold here on this score line, but it's this one here you want up. And when you get to this one here, sometimes it'll tend to want to fold there as well. So be careful and try and keep it nice and flat as you're doing it. So that's that. And then I've just got these and some embellishments. I was just going to put these three little ones on the corners. I'll just put them on with a glue dot, wherever I put my glue dots, over this side. I'll put the glue dot on here, because then I know it's not going to overhang on anything. That one. Just poke that under a little bit, it's sort of sticking out. That's right. That one. Another one down the bottom. I'll put it down under the leaf section, because that where it went before was sticking up a little bit. Pop another one under there. Excuse me. I'll put another one under this one as well. And one over here. I won't put it there because that's going to go back in there. So we shall put it the bottom down here, the same as, won't matter if it comes up over the cross piece, because that's it stays there, it's not going to move. I'll put one on there and one on there and a few embellishments, and we're done. I might go other direction with that one. There, and I've chosen the green ones on these. They're old olive, but they do go nicely with this one. Ombre decorative, matte decorative dots. I'm just going to use a couple of green ones out of this. I'll put them on this section here. I'll go one on there. And another one up there. That will be sufficient. And that is it. My book fold Bookmark fun fold is what it's called. And there's those two. And my other one that's a little bit different because we haven't got the bookmark in it. My girls will be doing that at a fun fold class. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry it took so long, but give it a go. Once you get the cuts right, you'll be fine. And I shall catch you all again next Monday. Have a lovely week. Bye for now.